gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wow, what a difference a week makes. And I say this every time we're opening up a video. Hello everyone, I am Bob.
I'm Carrie.
And this is 25 Plus Life. And today, Carrie, we're waking up to a beautiful day in New Hampshire at the homestead. Carrie has been incredibly busy selling everything we own. In this next phase, as we've accepted the offer, and we're going to go into what the next phase actually is, and how much time we have and what's going on. But you look into the dilapidated shed. This was overflowing in Crazy Town. Carrie has eliminated all of that as we've mowed the lawn for potentially the last time. Again, we'll cover that in a moment. The back deck, even the grill's gone. It's crazy. But you know what? This doesn't really seem like a nice New Hampshire scenery. You know what? We're going to change that. Now that is much better.
Check.
We are here at Allison's Orchards in New Hampshire, and along with about 3,000 other people, we're going to grab some apples here. We're going to show you around a little bit. We've come here, we've actually done this a couple of times, never on video, but and also never during what they call leaf peeping season here. The leaves are in full color, absolutely amazing here. It is a little chilly, a little bit in the 50s, but absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to take you through here, and we'll get you down there, and I'm going to tell you what's going on. How's that? Okay, so we have our half peck bag.
It's one peck.
Our 1 peck bag for 15 bucks. And this is in Walpole, New Hampshire. And they have quite an assortment of apples here, as I guess any orchard really would have. This is probably one of our second spots that we use.
Yeah.
The other one was Miller Farm in Dummerson, Vermont, which we haven't been there in years.
I think we're going to get landed on.
Yeah, helicopters looming above. So they've got a little bit of everything here. This is going to be one of the hardest parts for us to leave this area. And as we've been here for, this is about 17 years now, and I think by the time we officially close on the house, we're like 16 years and 11 months. How crazy is that? So this part, you know, this part of New Hampshire is kind of old world. We're at the border of Vermont, and you still have, you know, these things like the tractor rides and an orchard and, you know, stuff like that, which, I mean, you have other places, but this still has that.
It's always a dedicated orchard. It's not a place set up next to a grocery store
Right.
that you can pick a pumpkin or whatever.
That's one of the things about New Hampshire and Vermont that I think anybody that comes up to this area comes here looking specifically for that, is that it's that familiar old feel to it. You know what I mean? And like you said, it's not commercialized, it's not, I mean, as busy as this is still a family-run orchard, which is pretty cool. So, but we didn't come out on this journey to talk necessarily about apple orchards, but we did need some apples, so I figured we'd bring you along. And as I'm walking down to the spot, really give you guys that crisp color that I probably don't see anywhere else except for like the Smoky Mountains. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. So okay, so now we'll talk a little bit about the house and our going full time. So we made a couple of things here. One's we've now progressed to the next stage. We've had our home inspection.
Yep.
The home inspection passed, no problems, which I really didn't think there was going to be any issues anyway. And we're now moving into the next phase, which I believe will be bank appraisal. And then from there we go on to the closing, which all of this in a time frame that will be roughly about 3 weeks. Carrie has really done an amazing job, basically just giving away all our furniture. And I say that jokingly, but she's sold probably about 85% of what we have. We're down to a couch, a TV, my office setup, and our bedroom. So, because after all, I have to have a place to sleep. House is oddly empty. It just feels weird, like, you know, it's echoey. And it's now gone from a home to just to a house, which is kind of,
and it almost feels strange, like you're sleeping in someone else's house, like it's not our, it doesn't feel like our house.
it's really weird. And the thing about it, and this is what nobody tells you about when you're giving up a, what do they call that, sticks and bricks, which I can't stand that expression, but when you're giving up a sticks and bricks home to do the RV life full time, is that you have all these memories that flood back in to what you've done and everything else. And some levels you're like, wow, you know, all that time, all that energy invested, our kids grew up here, and it's gone. But it's necessary to get to that next stage of our lives. So before I make that all emotional and I get a little sappy, I'm going to show you this. This is what makes this orchard amazing. Again, this is in Walpole, New Hampshire. And you see right now, the colors here are absolutely incredible. And we're going to swing one more time because I think it's worth it. And this isn't made up, folks. This right out there in the distance, that is a little red barn. And that is a legit functioning barn. Like, there's like so old school here. And that you have right out here, which is perfect for a little putting green. But yeah, so that's basically where we're at with this stuff, is that we've decided that, you know, we've clearly made this decision that this is the next chapter of our lives, but yet you still have that, you know, and you can hear it in the kids, in their voice when you tell them, hey kids, we sold, you know, the living room set's gone, and they're like,
hey, don't you send a picture of an empty living room, and one replies and the other one just like you're being ghosted. She just doesn't. Just like, you know, she's like, yeah, thanks.
And our kids are awesome, you know, in the fact that they recognize that this is the next chapter of our lives, you know, but there is that underlying thing, is that you don't have a home to go to anymore, which is, you know, I'm a firm believer is home is wherever you are, right? So, well,
lucky for them, no matter where we are. I mean, we're never that far.
We're a drive away.
Never get to them if they needed us, and they know we would drop everything to come back.
Absolutely. So, I think
temporarily.
So, but what I do want to do, for not only for the channel but for our children as well, is that in the upcoming weeks, before we officially turn the keys over to the new owners, we're going to do a video tour of the home. Oh my gosh. As well as a little bit of story for each room, because each room has a little bit of story to it.
That's going to be rough.
So we'll end up doing that. And then on the other side, we've made the decision to not go, let's go down this way.
You're gonna
to not go with the Keystone Cougar. After doing some more research and after our lengthy stay at the Hershey RV show, all 45 minutes. In which, you know, looking back on it, other than the fact that we had to pay for a new transmission on the truck, the rental car fiasco, the whole sleep deprivation thing, I'm actually glad it turned out this way, because we were in the Keystone, and it is a beautiful, aesthetically pleasing rig, right? But walking into the Grand Design on our way out the door, or out the way out of the RV show rather, we walked in there and we kept coming back to that particular model. Doing a little more research on the Grand Design 22 MLE, it seems as a whole, Facebook groups and various stuff of that nature, that the owners of the Grand Design overall a lot more happy.
Yeah.
And that speaks volumes.
And the Grand Design customer service, any warranty work, anything like that, they're super helpful. Now, to that point, there's exceptions to every rule, right? And we understand that going in, but just in looking at particular Facebook groups and stuff of that nature, as well as, you know, some other review videos, it seems like overall the Keystone Cougar lacks that quality control. And Keystone, I guess at one time was fantastic, but apparently they were acquired by Thor, and ever since then, I believe it's Thor, but ever since then the quality's kind of gone downhill. And I also think we're at the other side of the pandemic, that you know, labor shouldn't be really a factor so much more as the 2020 and the 2021 lines. So that's where we're at with that. In the floor plan between the two is very similar. I think there's a couple of inches more space in the bathroom for the MLE from Grand Design, and the price point is perfect for us. So that's where we're at with that. Once we are down south at the South Carolina property, we will be evaluating our truck and whether or not we want to keep said truck for another year or two, or potentially buy a new truck, just so that we know in theory that we have about 4 years of no worries. Okay, and that's really why I would say to do everything new. Yeah, so there's that. There's our upcoming talks with Kimberly at Campground Memberships Outlet in our 1,000 Trails purchase. So that will cover the travel side of what we want to do next. And yeah, and this is more of that apple orchard, boy. Look at this. Just, you know, some of you may be looking and going, it's just just apples, but wow, it's really nice. Nice to be here. Crisp day. You know, everything feels just right. So that's that. I can't think of anything more other than, if you are going through this process yourself and you're in the process now of selling your home and deciding that full-time RV is where you're going to be, we'd love to have you comment below and let us know where you're at on the stage. It is hard. And you look around your house and you're like, wow, this isn't so much. Like, this isn't so bad. It's a lot of stuff. And then you're supposed to be paring down. You're like, oh my gosh, I can't get rid of this. Well, what are you supposed to do? That you have to do something. My goal with all of this and moving into the RV is to get everything down to like 2 suitcases worth of stuff and start over. Carrie, on the other hand, probably wants to keep everything. Not everything, but there's a lot of sentimental value. And so, that's going to be the hardest part to let go of. And we don't want to be, before I close this out, we don't want to be one of those couples that you see on YouTube that we're doing this, we're full-time, we're committed, but we have a storage unit. 5 units. You know, or 3 storage units or something. A couple of years later, we're all in. This is it. So yeah, so that's where we're at. So if you have any questions about the process so far, let us know. If there's more that you'd like to know that we're not covering, maybe it's something we're forgetting. Because on our daily lives, things rocking and rolling. Yep. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Whoa. That was a hill. That hill was pretty steep. Not too many other channels are going to do that for you, folks. So from beautiful
Allison's Orchard in Walpole, New Hampshire.
There you go.
I'm Bob.
I'm Carrie.
This has been 25 Plus Life, and we'll catch you next week. Let's get some apples.
When you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still